Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Apple, Spotify, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which makes crypto investing easy. I've been using this platform since 2017. They're one of my go-to exchanges. They have 10 plus million users, 200 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. As with all exchanges, you can buy and sell on them, but I highly recommend you custody your own crypto. Not your keys, not your crypto. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the link in the description. All right, my friends, we start off with some more news around FTX, the circus show that is Sam Bankman-Fried. And this one is really weird, guys. He has hired Ghislaine Maxwell's former lawyer, Mark Cohen, and you all know who she's connected to, right? Jeffrey Epstein and all the nonsense that went along there. So the circles Sam Bankman-Fried is finding himself in is not looking good, right? And of course, we know he's guilty. He's going to be in trouble. I think he's been doing his PR tour, going on podcasts, getting interviewed to try to distance himself from a lot of the things that happened, right? And that is the Alameda research. He's trying to say, oh, I don't know what was happening there. Dude, you knew what was happening. It's your company. You own both Alameda Research and FTX. But he's trying to form a narrative, right, to help reduce his sentencing, the vitriol and the hate and even the justice that's coming his way. He's trying to reduce that. But, look who he's hiring as a lawyer here. Talk about, being guilty. Now let's move ahead. Here we got Maxine Waters, who has been having a back and forth Twitter conversation with Sam Bankman-Fried. She tweeted out today, lies are circulating at CNBC that I am not willing to subpoena Sam Bankman-Fried. And she tagged him. He has been requested to testify at the December 13th hearing. A subpoena is definitely on the table. Stay tuned. And I tweeted to that. I said, okay, but actions speak louder than words. You've been sending him love letters. People saw you blowing a kiss to him last year after the congressional hearing. I mean, that is not normal behavior for a politician to be blowing kiss to some random dude in the crypto industry, right? So the optics do not look good here for Maxine Waters, and we want to see less talk and more action. I've been saying for the past few weeks, they need to go bring this man to the U.S., get him into custody, and start the whole legal process. How is he running around his $30 million penthouse in the Bahamas while he has committed fraud and stole people's money and billions of dollars have been lost? It's ridiculous. And then, there's talks about potentially Caroline Ellison, who was the CEO of Alameda and one-time girlfriend of Sam Bankman-Fried, potentially getting some sort of deal where she's probably going to, talk about what the hell happened here, because Sam is in a way throwing her under the bus by saying, I didn't know what happened at Alameda. So by default, you're saying it's all on Caroline. She was the CEO. She knew, but I didn't know. But of course, we know Sam knew, right? The money moving from FTX to Alameda, of course he knew about that. Moving customer funds, commingling, and all that jazz. So that's interesting, to say the least, from Maxine Waters. Let's see what she actually does. And let's see if Sam Bankman-Fried actually shows up, whether it be in person or virtual. Most likely it'll be in virtual. He's trying to avoid the U.S. as much as possible. They're going to have to go get him, I personally believe, but we'll see what happens. Now, the utter failure, that is the SEC Chair Gary Gensler, went on Yahoo Finance today to talk about crypto. And what's interesting, he continued to dodge questions. The hosts asked him straight up, you met with Sam Bankman-Fried on March 29th. He was in your office. Tell me what happened. What do you think of him and this situation? And of course, same old Goldman Gary Gensler deflects. Oh, well, I can't talk about this. Blah, blah. And then he went on with his normal bullshit talking points. This is the chairman of the SEC. This is pathetic. You know, a lot of people sometimes say, dude, why are you so hard on Gary Gensler and so forth? Because he's an utter failure. And he's being paid by my tax dollars, by your tax dollars. So he's not doing his job. And I created, a meme, and I showed it to some of you all, where it shows the SEC targeted Kim Kardashian, Library, and Ripple. And they did not pay attention and do anything with FTX, Celsius, 3 Arrows Capital, Terra Luna, and all these firms that have collapsed and lost, in aggregate, billions of dollars for users. What the hell was the SEC doing? Where are my tax dollars going? To go after Kim Kardashian? What the hell is this, right? I mean, this really pisses me off. And I'm sure many of you as well. This man is not doing his job. He's now working with Congress to provide clear regulations. SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce has put forth a proposal, the regulatory sandbox. Has Gary Gensler even read that? Has Gary Gensler even weighed in on it? He has to be the one to go put it forth before Congress to work together to figure this out. And by the way, guys, I'm not the only one who feels this way, because we got other members of Congress, bipartisan, by the way, Democrats and Republicans, who have their targets on Gary Gensler because of this nonsense. So Ranking Member Patrick McHenry, which leads the oversight committee that oversees the SEC, he tweets out Gary Gensler's Yahoo Finance interview. He says, Chair Gensler wants to push the digital asset ecosystem overseas to protect, and he puts that in quotation marks, American investors. Instead, Congress must develop clear, comprehensive regulatory framework in the U.S. to protect Americans and allow innovation to thrive here at home. He says Congress stands ready to work with him on a bipartisan basis to achieve that goal. Reminder, FTX is a Bahamian-based company that fleeced customers around the globe and its U.S. investors right under Gary Gensler's nose. Exactly. He tweeted, by the way, he tagged Gary Gensler in his tweet. So you can see members of Congress recognize the incompetence of Gary Gensler and the utter failure of Gary Gensler. Once again, he was meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried. Why was he not investigating Voyager, Celsius, Terra Luna? Why the hell was he looking at Kim Kardashian and Library? Oh my God, Library, poor Library, a video platform with a token. Oh no. Right? Library didn't steal money from me and millions of other investors. No, Celsius did, BlockFi did, FTX did, and many more, Terra Luna and so forth. So this is just pathetic, man. Now, Democratic Congressman Richie Torres has opened an investigation into how Gary Gensler has, and I quote, fundamentally failed as a regulator on FTX. And he's a Democrat, and a ranking member, Representative Patrick McHenry, is a Republican. So I'm going to be interviewing, by the way, and I think I've told you guys, Representative Bill Huizenga, Congressman Bill Huizenga, who's also part of that committee that oversees, the member of the Financial Services Committee that oversees the SEC. That interview is coming soon. I will be bringing back Congressman Tom Emmer as well, who's also part of that committee. And we're going to talk about all this. How are they going to keep Gary Gensler accountable? So you guys don't want to miss that interview. Make sure you're subscribed. So let me give you some more details about what Richie Torres said. Here's the headline from Blockworks. Gensler singularly responsible for failing to expose FTX fraud. Representative Torres' call for investigation comes months after he and several other representatives drafted a letter to Gary Gensler asking about the SEC's jurisdiction over non-SEC related or regulated entities. So I love that they are calling this guy out because he has failed. And it's not a partisan thing here. It's not just Republicans calling out Gary because he's a Democrat. No, you got Democrats calling out Gary Gensler as well. If you have any common sense and some level of normal IQ, you can see Gary Gensler is an utter failure. And that's not hyperbole. Just look at this man's track record. Just look at the facts, right? He's not here to protect investors. He's not doing the best thing for the crypto market. He is just doing what he needs to do to build his clout, his social clout, right? You saw what he did with the Kim Kardashian situation. 8 o'clock in the morning, boom, on CNBC. Yes, we charged Kim Kardashian and all these other guys and celebrities and so forth. Yeah, while you let the bank robbers empty the vault, Celsius, Terra Luna, Voyager, FTX, and more. Ridiculous. Now, here, Ron Hammond of the Blockchain Association, who's a frequent guest on the show, he tweeted out or retweeted Patrick McHenry saying, reminder, Patrick McHenry will be leading the House Financial Services Committee next year. There are reports he will establish a subcommittee on crypto and fintech to move bills like a regulatory framework. Additionally, he said he plans to have oversight hearings on the SEC. So I know a lot of people are like, wait, why aren't these Republicans who took the House back moving? Well, it's going to happen in when they take, the full transition of the office in January. So that's coming. And I'm going to try to get Patrick McHenry on the show for you guys. But it seems like they're going to be able to move crypto regulations. We'll see. Once again, actions speak louder than words. So we'll see what happens. But one thing's for sure, they're going to bring Gensler in and scrutinize him. And I can't wait for that. Let's move ahead here, guys. Paul Grewal, who is the chief legal officer at Coinbase, he weighed in yesterday on the outlook for securities and crypto securities and in the US and the lack of regulatory clarity. And I want to read some of what he tweeted out because it's really, really good and insightful. And it just gives you that perspective of what's lacking, what's missing, and how the SEC and Gary Gensler have failed. He said many crypto projects work hard to avoid the possibility of being mislabeled as securities in the US, often to the project's detriment. Why? Because being a security comes with requirements that currently don't work for crypto. He says, in July, we detailed a petition for rulemaking how existing securities regulations don't work for crypto, formally asking the SEC to write rules that would allow for the growth of a vibrant and well-regulated securities market. We asked 50 detailed questions that we believe would help provide a roadmap for future regulation and suggested we would follow up with proposed solutions. Today, we're doing just that in a letter following up with a formal comment. Our comment identifies key problems that limit the ability of developers to offer crypto securities and articulates what information investors would need to know about these projects. We explain why these kinds of securities, called investment contracts under the law, are fundamentally different from the kinds of securities that the current rules were written for, and we lay out what this type of framework might look like. This is on point. How the hell do you use a law written in the 1930s or 1940s, whatever it was, which was around orange groves for tokens on blockchains that are distributed globally on decentralized blockchains? How do you do that? And other countries are treating these said tokens as virtual currencies, while in the US, we have no clarity and Gensler is trying to put all of them under the umbrella of securities. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the genies are already out of the bottle where they can't go try to kill these projects and put them back in. They will just move overseas. The rest of the world will continue, guys. And this is where the US is going to, they're too late to the game. Other countries will move forward. We're seeing the UK, Singapore, and many others, Japan, are doing the right thing. So Paul says the US financial markets are the gold standard of the world. That's due in no small part to our high quality regulation and the work of the regulators who oversee the markets. We think crypto and crypto investors deserve the same kind of high quality regulation that all other types of assets in the US enjoy. And then he provided a link to, their letter. And, as always, Gary Gensler is going to see this and it'll just go in one ear and out the other. But this is where we need Congress to act and keep this guy in check. He's once again, an utter failure at this point. And here's another example. I didn't touch on this news. It happened. They announced it on December 5th. So on Monday, Nexo said they are leaving the US and due to the lack of regulatory clarity. You want to guess which Which government agency? Yeah, the one we've been just talking about is responsible for this? The SEC, right? Another example, they will leave the country, guys. And all these great lending products and things are not going to be accessible to us, but they will be to other people in the world. Let's move ahead because we got some big institutional news. Institutions to tokenize $25 billion in off-chain assets in 2023, Van Eck exec predicts. The fund manager's head of digital assets research says Bitcoin could hit a low of $10,000 and a high of $30,000 in 2023. That should come as no surprise because, I've been saying it. I think Bitcoin's going to, go down a bit more and it could be in the 10 to 12K range. And then next year, as the Fed pauses and things, the macro environment gets better, we could have a face melting rally. That's not guaranteed, but, we've seen it in the 2018 into 2019 bear markets. And then we'll have to wait for the next Bitcoin halving to see a bull run. So, the folks here and these institutions are on the lookout or are predicting that there's going to be a lot of tokenization happening. And we've talked a lot about tokenization on this podcast. I've told you all, we are headed to that token economy, everything on the blockchain, 24/7 trading, globally distributed. And it's going to include real estate, cars, artwork, all that stuff. NFTs will, of course, be a part of it. So that is what's coming, whether people like it or not. And even the governments are on board. They're tokenizing fiat currencies, right? CBDCs are coming. So you're going to see incredible tokenization happening within the next 5 to 8 years. And don't be surprised if you go to buy a house and, it's tokenized on the blockchain and you're doing your transaction via contracts on the blockchain. And then even if you want to make investments in certain real estate, maybe you can go buy, some tokens for the Empire State Building, just as an example in New York City, and you hold some of those tokens, right? That's what's coming, guys. It's going to be incredible for being able to expand markets, for folks to raise capital, and for more people to be able to access equity in things they couldn't have before. So this is pretty bullish news, in my opinion. And remember, the tokenization, what's key for us who are investors is which blockchains will they be tokenizing on, right? We've seen tokenization on XRP Ledger, on Ethereum, Polygon, and more. So that is going to determine, kind of the winners and losers. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be multiple winners. There will be losers, of course, but it's not just going to be one blockchain that's going to have all the tokenization. Of course not, right? There's going to be competition, but the future is bright, my friends. And this is why you got to have a macro outlook on the market. Now, finally, $1.3 trillion asset manager exploring use cases for NFTs. After issuing an NFT to certain clients, Franklin Templeton is devoted to uncovering new applications for these assets, for the firm's head of digital asset technology says. So once again, they continue to explore and research and do their R&D and look at how they can invest and build and adopt these technologies, guys. And these legacy companies, they have a lot of capital and resources. They have the infrastructure to move and get things set up, right? Versus maybe a startup that is looking to raise capital. A lot of these firms like Fidelity and so forth, they can easily go set up things, and they have the customer database that when they do launch a product, they can just send hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to that product. So really speeding up the adoption. So the company minted its first NFTs, issuing them to attendees of its first innovation forum held in September to offer clients a way to explore the digital assets ecosystem, and now seeks to move further into this space. Here's a quote: "We see NFTs in their literal sense and more generally than just for their application with artwork or collectibles," Mike Muir, Franklin Templeton's head of digital assets technology, told Blockworks. "An NFT is an applicable construct for any unique asset, which only one exists. For example," Muir added, "loans and property titles are unique assets that are not fungible." So once again, the tokenization, everything on the blockchain, guys, your deed, titles and your ID and everything else. It's going to be contracts, everything on the blockchain. And these big firms see the opportunity. And for those of you who are, have said, NFTs are stupid, it's garbage. Yes, some NFTs are garbage. I'm not gonna deny that, right? It may be some sort of for example, I personally believe what was it? The rocks on the Ethereum, I forgot what they're called. Those that sold for millions of dollars, I think that's ridiculous. I think that's stupid. The NFTs that are specific to brands that unlock utility and experiences and benefits, I think those are absolutely great. So it's not so much the output of the NFT, whether it be the artwork, that's what I'm bullish on. I'm more bullish on the underlying technology that you can take this NFT and go to real estate and healthcare and whatever, voting, and create utility, guys. And that's what these big firms see. They're going to put, once again, real estate and different financial products and commodities and all that jazz on the blockchain. Pretty amazing. Anyway, guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think. And once again, Gary Gensler, the big time failure. This man needs to be fired. And I can't wait as members of Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, start to scrutinize and get to the bottom of what this guy's been doing. The other thing that's really been pissing me off, it's December and we just got his July calendar. And you can imagine that calendar is probably scrubbed, right? Where the hell is August? Where's September? Where's October? What the hell is going on here? How this guy's paid by taxpayers? It's unbelievable. Anyway, I digress, right? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you all later.